Welcome to the 70th broadcast of the T-ROH show. This is your host, Keith. We got John and we got Peter with us today.
Good morning, folks. Hope you enjoy this one too.
How you doing?
Okay, we're going to be talking about a couple of things that we need to discuss. So we'll just get started like we always do. What we're going to do here is a couple of things that we published this week. It's International Alien Tort Claim and Arrest Warrant against an Organization of American States for falsifying the international record. This is quite an extensive event because this started back in 2015. And the people at the Organization of American States know exactly what we're talking about. And we have been going back and forth. Now, what is the Organization of American States? What it is it's just an organization that brought all of the American continent countries together into one union type thing. It's a the UN organization. So that's all it does. And what they do is they have certain things and certain rights and all these kinds of things. And if you go back to the original government, they turned a blind eye because what is the United States? The United States is a military arm. So there's a lot of politics involved with them. Most of the people that are there are Latino. And trust me, if you don't speak Spanish, they don't want to talk to you. They're extremely racist people. So we put a warrant out basically to stop them from just leave the states alone. Leave the states of the union alone. We don't want anything to do with you because we know exactly what you are, which is nothing more than a organization that I guess I have to say it. That they very CIA controlled. Let's put it that way. And anything the CIA is involved with, this organization's involved with. So we did this on the grounds of international complaint arrest warrant included but not limited to acts of falsifying the international record of the international community. We're in the United States, a well-known and self-proclaimed privately owned corporation. We're not just saying that, they said it. Anybody that goes into the US code can tell you, I mean, it's right in there. It tells you it's a privately owned corporation or a federal corporation, and it operates that way. So it's not like we're saying that it's not, or that we're accusing them of it. And that's funny because the local police keep being told that anybody that claims that the United States is this corporation is a sovereign citizen, domestic terrorist, and all this crap. Well, go in the freaking U.S. code and look at it. They say it, not us. Not anybody else. They're saying it. So appointed an ambassador to the Organization of American States in violation of the organization OAS, I guess it's called OAS, charter, thereby falsifying the international record as well as violations of numerous articles within the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And the reason why we're saying that is OAS doesn't represent the states of the union, doesn't represent anything. They claim they do, but they don't. They don't represent a damn thing. So all of the links are here. You can see the links on the stuff we did reports on them and all that. It says the OAS is clearly against any form of real country unless that country offers money and has enough firepower to destroy it. So anything dealing with the United Nations, folks, if you don't have nuclear weapons, they just don't listen to you. So realize that. If you're a family, they don't give a damn about you. If you can't give them money or blow them up, they won't listen. Or use your power to blow somebody else up on their behalf for them, they won't listen either. It says a highly racist organization where if anyone calls that organization it's not Latino or speaks Spanish, they hang up. And that's literally what has happened to us over and over and over again. If you don't speak Spanish, see ya. Complaints about South American countries that do not pay their dues. That was a couple of years ago. Has not contributed to the international community and basically serves no purpose whatsoever, other than for control of the Central and South American countries. That's basically what they do. They control them. Most of them are communist countries in Central and South America, and they try to control those communist countries from being aggressive towards each other and all that jazz. It says violates its own charter when it fits its narrative and arbitrarily falsifies the international record on a daily basis and cares not for any form of rule of law. So what we did was we just did a arrest warrant basically stating, don't come here. We don't want you. We don't want you here. Have a good day. We don't want you within the states of the Union, your United Nations, basically a organization working on behalf and or on behest of the United Nations. Anything the United Nations tell you that benefits the United Nations and not any specific country, you'll do it. So you're not here for us, so go away. And that's what we're telling them here. And we got another one, which was issues an international arrest warrant for Barry Soetoro and immediate family. And basically what we're saying here is fairly simple. Barry and family got into an office without an ID. It's just that simple. And perpetrated acts of terrorism and violations of numerous articles within the UDHR, impersonated a public official, during which time war crimes were committed on multiple occasions, and falsified multiple international records of the international community and domestic political records. So let's put it this way. Say if you want to get into office and your name is John Smith, you can't run for office as Elvis Presley. It doesn't work that way. You have to have a legal name change and everything. Plus, you can't use 5 or 6 social security numbers. Okay? And then you can't make up an ID in the name of Elvis Presley and start signing documents in the name of Elvis Presley. It doesn't work that way. That's falsifying the international record. So anything that Barry signed that didn't sign it Barry was a falsification of an international record, which is thousands upon thousands of counts. There's a lot you can do in 8 years. No matter what you sign, it was a false record. You have anything to add with that, John?
No, sir, not really, but all the executive orders and everything he wrote are null and void.
Right.
Okay. You can't sign anything, you can't do anything in a legal paper and not use your correct name. It's illegal. Go ahead.
Right. So he's not really even married.
That's correct.
Okay. In under U.S. citizen BS trust, you have to have a marriage license, and if your marriage license is in the wrong name, that's falsification of a public record and falsification of what they call government forms. You're falsifying records. That's all that's going on. And a lot of people just didn't get that. They just ignored it for some reason. And this guy was able to get into an office without an ID. Period. Everything he signed was illegal. It's as simple as that. And you don't have to go into all these other things. Just a simple fact that his name is Barry Soetoro, trying to do business as Elvis Presley here. So, that's basically it. That's all that happened. And so you've got 8 years of fraud in some office claiming to be a public official within the District of Columbia and claiming to be a leader of the free world and completely fooled billions of people.
And even change his citizenship to world citizen.
Right. There's evidence on that.
Yeah.
So let's put it this way, folks. No matter what you think, and no matter what you feel, or what your political affiliation is, or no matter what you're doing, That dude made a fool of everybody. He fooled everyone. That was the biggest con I had ever seen in my life that actually was pulled off. It was literally pulled off. I couldn't believe it when I looked at some of the records and things like that. I said, "You gotta be kidding me!" He pulled this off. They were able to pull off a guy in an office, which is a CEO. That's all he is. It's a corporation, and they were able to he was able to run that corporation under a false name for 8 years or however long he was in the Senate and all that stuff. He was able to do that for a long time, and no one said a word. The people that did say a word, I think some of them went to jail and all that kind of stuff, or got shut up or hushed. But that was it. They were able to pull that off, and it was a good one, man. That was a good con. I mean, they never let the con go. Let's put it that way. So anything that this guy signed that was not this name here, Barry Soetoro, false record. It's illegal. Don't even listen to it. It's a joke. All right. Those are some of the things that we had to cover. What we wanted to cover here, we talked about the Michigan Assembly last week, and we were pretty harsh on them, but and some people did call them, and basically they watched the program. We heard some of these things. They watched the program and decided to get some help or receive some help. They weren't being so arrogant as far as that's concerned. Because of what they did and what they were looking at did not did not look good. And we didn't do it out of maliciousness. We did it out of we're sick and tired of people doing things and not really clearly looking into it and not doing their study and not doing all this other stuff and then putting it out there for everybody else and get a bunch of people in trouble with not with the system. I'm not worried about the Masons or them. You're getting in trouble with the natural law. Is what's happening. You're bringing some what we call bad mojo on yourself. So what we did was we went through that paperwork. There's another organization trying to do the same thing. They're a private organization. I think it was Pantera or some crap. We know who runs it. We know it's a scam. Always has been with those people. And I think it was Pantera, wasn't it, John? Wasn't that called Pantera or something?
Yes, I think it was.
All right. And we know who runs that thing. Just stay away from it. It's a complete joke. It's a private organization trying to teach you how to become a private American national. But really it is just a private club that's going to take your rights away. So that you have no rights in there. Even the, what was it called? What was their board or something? He can even, the head of it can even overturn the board.
Yeah, it was a private membership association that was allowing people to go in as private membership association under the original private membership. It was all messed up.
It was another joke.
And
Okay.
if people, and if the owner of the first PMA, he had full authority to throw anybody out he wanted to. But if anybody else that was part of the joining in PMAs, they had to have 2/3 vote to be able to discharge anybody.
Okay, so basically you're going in and they're saying that you're an American national, which you're literally not. Private organizations cannot dole out nationalities. Only governments can do that. Real governments, not people that call themselves governments, but they're private companies. And the government of the United States of America is not a private company. So it's literally the actual government from 1781. So it's once again the same thing. It was the same thing as the Masons trying to create what they called a national government, which it wasn't, because they can't create a national government in 1787 and 1789. So they're doing the same thing again. Another private company or private organization trying to say that they can dole out and show you how to live privately as an American national. where all you're doing is just giving up all your rights again, which you don't need to do that because American National is a public and international status. If you have the status, you don't need a private organization or the protection of one. You have the right to represent your own country or vote people, representatives in under an open elections. So it's ridiculous to think that another private organization can give you a nationality and have any benefit towards you have any benefit towards that at all. You're just giving up more rights again. It's the same exact thing. So what we did is we have a basic rule with the National Assembly. You come up with an objection, you have to come up with a solution, and we have a solution for you. And we're going to be going through how to reset your states and everything, which, by the way, everything is absolutely set up for you. It's all done. All you got to do is join and use it. All the surveys are done. All the original state surveys are done. Constitutions in all the states are declared in existence. Everything's been published. Everything is finished. They all have an address. It's all finished for it. You know, all you got to do is just learn how to use it. So we'll go through a program next week with that. But where you start is if you're going to, you want to clean up your counties and your cities and all that kind of thing. The only way to do that is the very first thing you do is start with a political party, and that's it. You have to start with a political party. Now, this is already set up. Political party is already established. It's not a 528 organization, meaning a private corporation that says it's a political party, like the Republicans and Democrats. Those aren't political parties. Political parties do not have to register someplace to exist. So what we did was this is all set up. All of the state chapters are set up for you. And that's all right here. These are the members and stuff. There's 100-something members there. Let me see what we got. Okay. And this is the party forum here where everybody can talk to each other. And you can join your state party. And all you need is 2 or 3 or 4 within each state. And then we'll start showing you step by step. You got to claim your constitution, which is already done, meaning it's already declared into existence. So all you have to do is adopt it, and we'll show you how to meet and everything else as your political party. And you can come into this forum. And I know it looks pretty bleak at first, but when you're first looking at it, and you have all these spaces, and all your state chapters are here. Now, each state chapter is autonomous. They're independent of each other. They have their own state elections. They do not involve themselves in any kind of federal election, nor a national government election. National government has its own. They have their own elections. Okay? And if you want to join that, there's the government of the United States of America. That's ours there. And then you have all the different chapters of the states. It has great seals on them. And you can join either one, any one that you want to join, or wherever you are. And then you'll have other people that are involved. But all you have to do is come over here and join a chapter now. And just fill out the address. One guy came in and started giving us an address, meaning he started preaching to us as a State of the Union address. I can't do anything with that. So, and nobody else can either. So we're just going to ignore it. Put your state, you can put your comment, submit, and then we'll go ahead and get it. We'll get you into the state chapter list. And it's beginning, it's just beginning, so it's going to look a little bleak at first, but it's growing quickly. I'll give you an idea how fast this grows. Now we've got Peter here, and he is the deputy chairman of the American National Union. Say hello, Peter.
How are you doing? How are you guys doing?
And the ANU has been doing quite a bit. So all you got to do, like I said, if you want to get started, getting your states back together, joining the North American National Party, you can leave at any time. And no, I'll just do this before we talk to you, Peter. Sorry, I was going to say this. You can leave the party anytime. Nobody's keeping you there. And you're not pledging your property to any party. You're not doing anything other than claiming your political power back and your vote. That matters. Okay, you're claiming your political party back. Where you are now is you only have an opinion because it was started by a private club. So your vote doesn't matter unless you join the Masons or unless you're a Jesuit, part of a Roman Catholic deal and all that. You don't have any vote there. But right here within the North American National Party, you get your political power back and you get your vote back. And that's what this platform is all about. We also have the political platform too. I can't remember what it was. I think it was, there it is, North American National Party platform, if you want to read it. And and you'll have that political power within your state once again, and you'll have an actual vote. And we have ID cards and things like that you can get. Okay, so here's the American National Union. We're going to talk a little bit about agricultural union. But go ahead, Pete.
Yeah, this is pretty much our first union that we are starting, basically from the ground up, and putting as much effort as we possibly can to make sure that everyone retains the same rights and obligations as the next person. A quote that was given to me for this was, a good government says that we have written this down because it is the law, and a bad government, because we have written this down, it is now the law. So we are trying to maintain the natural law of everything and grant people back what they should have had to begin with.
Right. This is the original union of 1774. It has a constitution and it has bylaws. That took a little while to get together. I won't get into that. But we have some good people in there now. And this right here, this 213, this started out with 42. And in the last 3 weeks, it's jumped to 213. And it just keeps growing. And you have different rooms here, okay? You have the automotive union. You have a national lawyers union. You have a press union. The Continental Army is here. Continental Public Bank is here. PAGs across America. Rain to Heavens Healing Center. There is a state of Florida assembly, and then you have a welcome to the American National Union. Then you have the agricultural union, which is this right here. Now, you want to promote the the agricultural union, which is this.
Yes, absolutely.
And all
yeah,
of
that should be for everyone that grows as little as a flower in a windowsill. Start getting involved.
Okay, and this is a public union, folks. So this is not a Teamsters. That's not what this is all about. This is not a mafia Teamster type thing. What this is, the American National Union is set up to where you have the main union, which is right here. And this union has a constitution and bylaws, declaration of rights, and all that. That's the main hub. And what we did is we made it to where you can create unions within it under each industry with its own constitution, its own great council, its own everything. The same as the main American National Union is set up. It just becomes a carbon copy of the other. So if you want to start a, programmers union, it'll be called American National Programmers Union. Well, we have it set up to where in the seal, it's the same exact seal. We just put the name of the union right here. And by the way, this is busy all the time. It's constantly people putting stuff up. But we put your seal there, and then what you do is we have what they call a generic. It's a generic constitution bylaws that was set up for everybody. So all they have to do is we just need one individual there, or one man or woman that wants to lead something, and just take the lead and go for it. You'll get voted in later, but we need somebody to take the lead and go for that particular union, whether it be the agricultural union, whether it's the what do you call it, the press union, automotive union. We can have a truckers union. There's all kinds of industries in here. There's over 200 or 400 of them. I can't remember how many there are. There's a bunch. And you can have up to 1,200, 1,500 different industries in here where people get together and they make the bylaws of their own industry that benefit them. How hard is that? They make the bylaws. In other words, you guys are making your own rules on how your industry operates. If there's any problems, you have to go to the American National Union Great Council and settle those issues between, if there's problems in there. Now, everybody would say, well, that's just crazy. No, it's called free market. Well, you're going to have a bunch of people doing this, this, and this. If people are making laws that are damaging and everything else, nobody's going to use your industry. You're just going to hurt yourself. They're going to start, you're only hurting your own business. So what you want to do is make rules and laws that benefit the people that use your services or your industry, and it also benefits you, and there's nothing going against you. You don't have this third party coming in and trying to get a piece of the action no matter what you're doing. Meaning, you don't have what they call a local type company coming in making rules that you can't collect rainwater or that you can't grow your own food. And that's where you're wanting to go, right, Pete? In other words, if you're part of the American National Agricultural Union, you're going to get.
You should be able to grow your vegetables in your front yard. You shouldn't have to settle with what your neighbor says or with what an HOA says, because you should be able to do that. Same with rainwater harvesting. You shouldn't have laws against that. It comes from the heavens. It is for everyone.
Okay, and you're also getting into silver infusion over there. You started going crazy the other night talking about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And with this agriculture union, I can start applying that with services that I provide. We've had great success with it out here with simple eye infections because some dirt or a hay got into one of the goat's eyes. It healed it up within 3 days without over-the-counter or pharmaceuticals. Same with our emus and dogs. They grow feathers and fur back quicker after hot spots or injuries. Someone gets into a scuffle out there. It's beautiful. It cures and it speeds up the healing process. We use it on everything now.
Yeah, weren't there? Do you have a specific or other than
the two best ones that I can absolutely vouch for is the eye infections and our old service dog, 16 years of age, was developing cataracts, and prior to passing away, we were actually able to stop those cataracts from growing any further. And in my eyes, I saw a reduction of the cataracts.
Okay, so we were talking about dogs' cataracts, so go ahead.
Yes, our 16-year-old service dog was developing cataracts in her eyes, of course, due to nature. What we did was we started using the silver infusion in her eyes, and it stopped her from going blind completely. She was still able to see, run up and down the stairs to come inside, and interact with the animals on the farm. I personally believe that it not only stopped it, but it also reduced her cataracts. On top of cataract reduction, as I said a second ago, we had a goat that had a infection in her eye, and it looked like a bloodshot cataract. Within 3 days of using silver infusion, I'd say 3 times a day, her eye completely healed up. Again, it doesn't end there because I've used it with chickens. And if anyone houses chickens, you know, around the cold time of year or whenever it starts raining, chickens are susceptible to upper respiratory. We used silver infusion on the 2 birds that I started hearing a cough in, and it never spread to any of the other birds. And those 2 birds healed up again within days, a week at most. The hot spots on that on our 16-year-old dog. Once she moved out to this area from out of state, she was developing hot spots horribly several times a year. And again, silver infusion applied to that. Not only did she stop the itching, but the hot spots healed up, fur grew back quicker than they did prior to us using it. Again, our emus, any other animal that we've had out here, of course, they get into scuffles, like I said, and there's scratches, scars, feathers that get picked off by sheep out here because for some reason sheep love eating emu feathers. But spray silver infusion on it all over body, rub it in, and the feathers grew back in half the time that they usually would. So we saved emus from freezing to death during the winter time. And of course,
that
for
rarely
us,
happens, man. That rarely, because it's hard. I mean, they don't grow back that easy.
no,
On
no,
feathers, we've
I've
had
seen,
chickens, and it's like you got to be kidding me. Chickens, I mean, once something gets them, you know, you can't. I mean, they're dead. That's gone.
you have to separate them,
Yeah.
and we didn't even have to separate them. They got to live in the same pen with everyone else, and by giving them silver infusion, it grew the feathers back in no time. I mean, we literally saved one of our emus from freezing to death over the winter because the feathers grew back. And then, of course, I always tell everyone too that it's not that I don't believe in band-aids, but with the silver infusion, it's just not necessary. You spray it on there as soon as you get a scrape or scratch or bruise or prior to bruising, and you'll never bruise. Use it once every 5 minutes, turn that into once every 30 minutes for the day, and you're healed up, and you'll never see a bruise either. Personally, I won't live without it anymore.
I've personally used that myself, and I cut my finger. I've talked about this before. I cut my finger with the Sawzall, where it chews it up like hamburger.
Yeah.
That thing would not stop bleeding. I jumped in there. I forget that I have it, you know, and I jumped over there and got it, and I sprayed it on there. Bleeding stopped immediately, healed up in a day and a half.
Yeah. Yeah, it stops bleeding. So it's a joke that you know you got to be tough. You can't bleed. Well, silver infusion, and I keep it in my pocket. I've got one in my truck. It's in the kitchen. It's in the living room. We keep little bottles spread out everywhere, and we don't bleed. There's everything heals up. It is everything that it's claimed to be, and probably a whole lot more. I'll continue to use it and continue testing it out, and I'll have even more success stories the next time I talk about it.
Okay, so the Rain of the Heavens Healing Center is involved with the American National Union. How are you guys doing on the clean water? Because that's what you've been talking about. It's a clean water program that you're getting together.
Yes, clean water program. We have a vendor that is willing to work with us, providing RO units, reverse osmosis units, that will produce 1,000 gallons of clean water a day. And I believe that the purchase price is under $700. It might even be under $650.
Which kind of works with the plasma infusion or plasma energy also that we talked about. I'm
Yes.
still going to wait. I'm still waiting for people to come back with that. We only did the plasma energy about a month and a half ago. And I think we did the silver infusion. We had that program about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months ago. And we wait for people to come back and tell us what's going on with it. And then we'll bring them on. and say, here are the results. And these are people that actually use it every day. Okay. So we're not you know, we're not just going to say, hey, it works, go buy it. You have to trust us. We're going to talk to you about, if we have bad results, we're going to tell you about those also. Or it did nothing. We'll tell you about that. So I've had nothing but success with it myself. And a lot of people that I've talked to have won't live without it, just like you say.
Yeah, my family is hooked.
Yeah, nobody. Okay. Oh, yeah, we had one guy. All right, this was just the other day. I'm not going to bring up his name, but there was one guy that was just really skeptical. There's no way. So he said, screw it, I'll buy a little thing, you know, and see if this actually works, because everybody's talking about it on the National Assembly. They talk about it at ANU. They talk about it everywhere on some of the things that's happened to him when it comes up. It's not that that's all that they talk about, but he didn't believe it. He's had a bum knee. His wife had something wrong with her. And he finally came back and said, Keith, you made me believe her. I said, well, I wasn't trying to make you believe her. I mean, I wasn't pushing it. I don't ever push stuff like that. I'm not like a walking commercial, but he says, you made me believe her. I said, what happened? He goes, I got that silver infusion and I sprayed it on my knee and my knee stopped hurting immediately. And I blew my freaking mind. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no. He says, I sprayed on there when it started hurting, just sprayed it on. Pain went away and I'll go on about my day. I'm a believer. That's what he said. I'm a believer now. And the same thing is going on with you. Now, imagine all the vet bills that you're saving.
Oh my gosh. One of the amazing things is I was recommended to buy as a preventative, just to have it on the shelf. It was a holistic parvo treatment, and we bought it. Look at the back at the ingredients, and it looks like a holistic tea with all the ingredients. But the very first ingredient on it was the silver. Granted, it's not silver infusion. It was the colloidal silver, and if you look into the differences between the two, the only reason one works is because there's actually ionized silver in it. But the holistic treatment or supposed cure, with outside of their regulations, the main ingredient is the silver. And so we immediately brought it back, got our money back for it, because the money that was spent on it, we could then buy that much more silver infusion for.
Right. Just keep in mind, folks, we've had this program. There's a video on raininttoheavenshealingcenter.com that you can listen to. And keep in mind that if the website is down, it's been attacked ever since we did that program. I don't know if you've known that or not. It was down almost every day. There was false. I can't remember. There's a term for it. Just doesn't come to me right now. But somebody was just hitting this website over and over and over again, and they would shut it down, and then it would come back up about 5 minutes later, or 10 minutes later, sometimes 20 minutes later, and then they'd do it again. They went over and did this forever. Okay. But keep in mind, this silver infusion here, this is on the ion level, this is not colloidal silver. I wouldn't use colloidal silver. I tried that stuff. Oh man, no. I wouldn't use that at all, because you're just basically using metal. Your body is trying to process little metal particles, and that's not good. You don't do that. You don't eat metal, and your body can't digest it. This is silver ions. This is completely different, and that's why we use it. I even tested this on myself the first month, and first 2 weeks, everything just slowly cleared up. You don't feel anything. You don't think anything's happening. You don't feel a thing. But all of a sudden, things that were there before are not there anymore. Weird stuff, like little infections and little things like that you just didn't know you had, that your body picks up throughout the day and throughout your life.
All the way down to seasonal allergies. I haven't suffered from my allergies like I usually do at the end of the year.
Hey, that's right. I remembered you talking about that. I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because
every single year it was so horrible. Yep, every single year since I moved to the new area here, I've had allergies at the end of the year to where I'm almost on bed rest. I had to go to the doctor. I don't like antibiotics, but I didn't see any other cure or solution. So I went on antibiotics, and that was a good 2 weeks of horribleness. And I've been using this as just preventative, you know, your 10 to 20 sprays orally daily, and no allergies. Same with the rest of the family as well.
Huh. Interesting. Now, keep in mind, folks, that the American National Union is the original union of the 1774. So this was set up by what you would consider forefathers, but they weren't the ones that you normally hear about. These are the real guys. And they, this is where you get your, where you're not allowed to do certain things, you can do it here. You're part of the American National Union. Unions are extremely strong to be a part of, especially the original one that's first in time. It's extremely strong to be a part of it. So if you're a farmer and you're tired of getting screwed with people that wouldn't know what a day's work was if it slapped them in the face, they're sitting in a nice cushy chair making rules for you, yet they're eating your food. You might want to come over here to the American National Agricultural Union. Okay, or the ANU itself. Hang around. It's free to join the site. Nobody's asking you for dues. Nobody's asking you for anything. Just join it, and you'll be fine. You can leave anytime, and nobody's forcing you to do anything. And if you're a trucker, you can start your own truckers union. And if you want, we can go over on the ANU call every Tuesday night. If you're on they have an announcement on where the call is and everything else. We'll go over if you want to start your truckers union and you're sick and tired of what's going on with where you're at now. We'll get your own constitution, bylaws, and everything else, and you can start doing that. It's the same thing with the agriculture. All the farmers can get involved in this. You can even start accepting continental dollars if you want. And this is what we're trying to do. We got to restart this country and the states of the union and the people within the states of the union. And you start at the North American National Party, get your vote back and your political power back. And if you want to join the union, that's even better. Okay. And then we'll show you how to do these things where it's legal. If you follow what I'm telling you, it's by the law. It's the way, number one, it's the way the government of the United States of America did it. And it's the way all lawful governments form or reform themselves. And you don't have to worry about being called a sovereign citizen. You don't have to worry about being called all these crazy things because you're actually doing it right. So a lot of this other stuff goes away. Now, if you want to know how to get the silver infusion, do you have any other stories for us? Because I love hearing the stories.
You know, I was just thinking with these unions that are starting up, I know that there's a huge increase in people getting tattoos right now. So I would recommend there to be some sort of union setup like that. And that could also be applied with silver infusion. Recently got new ink on my arm, and within 5 days, it was completely healed up. Whereas when I asked the artist prior to leaving, he said that more than likely it's going to be between 10 and 14 days. So I showed him my arm within 7 days, and he was amazed.
But yet they won't use it.
I'm working on that.
You know what I mean? I mean, you know, I'm just bringing that up. It's like, yet they won't use it. It's like, guy, it's right here. Just here. It's right here. You know what I mean? It's all natural. They're silver ions. It's all natural. It's not going to hurt you. You know, you can drink a whole bottle of this in a day, and it will not hurt you.
I would love to be able to do that. But back to agriculture, just budding our goats out here so that they don't get their horns stuck in fences. They don't injure any other animals. Just something that we do out here. A lot of people do it. It's really the smart way to go about your herd. And I use silver infusion on that immediately after disbudding. A little bit of blue coat on it, and instead of having to reapply the blue coat once every other day for about a week and making sure there's no infection, it was that one-time silver infusion, a little bit of blue coat on it, and that was it. They're healing up beautifully, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how all of my my does and bucks look at the end of this year.
Can you imagine what it would be like? I have a thing about abused dogs. When I see dogs that are in bad shape, that people, I've seen a lot of stories. I love dogs. Okay, I'm what they call animal lover. I love dogs and cats. Cats don't, I'm not a cat person, but I don't want to see them hurt. I don't like to see animals hurt because a lot of them are, they're innocent. They're great beings, and people are just so non-empathetic. It drives me up a friggin' wall. And I see some of these stories where one guy put a wire around this dog. Well, he left it there. Okay, the dog was growing, and he never loosened the wire, so the wire was stuck inside the neck of this dog. He left it under a truck. It's been sitting there for a year or two. He wrapped it up as a puppy and then let it grow with a wire around his neck. So when they pulled the wire off, it was coming out of the dog, out of his skin. Can you imagine what Silver Infusion will do for these dogs? Getting rid of mites and all these things that they have.
Yeah.
It was even getting rid of parvo, folks. Parvo. Where you think your dog, you're scrapping blood. This thing got rid of parvo. This stuff did. Where it's highly expensive for a parvo treatment, and there's no guarantee the dog will make it. You start stuffing Silver Infusion down them, it has in the past, if you get them in time, like a day before they die, they're still drinking, that kind of thing, you can get this in them. And it kills parvo. A lot of people have lost dogs that they absolutely love, animals they absolutely love, through parvo, or that parvo virus. And I see, those dogs that there's a lot of great animal shelters and organizations that rescue these dogs off the streets and abuse dogs and things that they've done. Imagine what this stuff would do for them. It'd be amazing. Imagine if injuries. Imagine if the police were injured. Immediately when they got a gunshot wound, they spray this stuff on. Bleeding stops, guys. Bleeding stops immediately. We've had large cuts sprayed on there. The bleeding stops. You can get gunshot wounds for police and military and things like that, people like that. If they had a bottle in their freaking pocket, just pull it out and spray it on there, and it stops the bleeding. You up their chances of living 90% in the first instance, and the pain goes away.
Beekeepers and bee stings. That was another one of my amazing stories too. I got stung by one of the bees out here. Sprayed it on once every 5 minutes, 3 times, and within 15 minutes, you couldn't even tell that I was stung. Within the first spray, the pain was gone. It helps with infections too. Like I said, I will never live without it again.
It's amazing stuff. So if you're wondering how to get it, I'll leave a link down below this video, or this broadcast. I'll leave a link. You can click that. It'll take you over to here. Now, if you can't afford it, because a lot of people say, well, I want to be able to get this. You can get a gallon for $2.95. I think 16 ounces is $60 and all that. If you can't afford this, that's not a problem. All you got to do is sign up to be an affiliate. Sell some to your friends. You'll earn your commission, and you can buy it that way. So if you don't have it right away, you can help a bunch of people, and you can earn it, and then buy it yourself. You can take whatever commissions and say, hey, I want to order it with my commission. I think it's like 16-something% per commission to get this stuff. And the more that the continental dollar is used, that's when the manufacturer, when he can replenish his supplies and everything with continental dollars, then we'll start using continental dollars with it. But we need more people to join this union, and we need a lot of suppliers. We need It's ground floor. It's whatever you want to do to make it a life for yourself and help others. That's what the American National Union is all about. It's about businesses. It's about industry. It's about manufacturing. It's about producers. And trust me, you'll have plenty of business. You'll have plenty of business. The further this grows, the second you're in here and you advertise your business, it just went to 213 people. And this grew in 3 weeks from 42 to 213 in 3 weeks. When was the last time you were on, Pete?
Maybe 2 hours ago.
And well, the last time that you were on, you saw 176?
That was about a week, maybe a week ago at the most.
Okay, and our goal is once you get over 1,000, that's when things start rolling. You have enough people there that are suppliers and producers and all that stuff, and it really starts rolling. So we're working on getting to 1,000 members. Go back to your original union where you thought you had your rights, where you are now. These where your rights are right here. Okay, American National Union. And you're deputy chairman, interim. You guys are looking for an election within about a year now, right? About a year and a half.
Yeah, I believe about 13 to 14 months now.
Okay, we're gonna have an election, and we'll show you how those elections are done. And you actually have your own elections within your own union, meaning if you're a part of the American National Agricultural Union, you have your own elections that does not affect the main union. You have your own elections, you have your own officers, you have your own everything. You guys decide your bylaws, you vote on it. So everything you guys are tired of, you can make it happen here. Meaning, you truckers, you're tired of all this stuff that's going on in your industry, and I know exactly what's going on in your industry. You can make it happen here. You can turn it around for yourself. And that can now be enforced where you are now. Same thing with agricultural union. Okay? Whatever you guys are tired of in the agricultural business, you can make it happen here, put it in your bylaws and say, no, I'm a part of the American National Union, get the hell out of here. You're no longer a part of the American-British Union, or I'm sorry, the British-American Union, where you're catching all this basically communist socialist crap. This is grassroots republic here. So that's where this is. So you can come here and say, hey, I'm a trucker. Where's the truckers union? I don't know. Do you want to start a truckers union? Yeah, boom. You'll have one within about 5-10 minutes. We'll have a space set up for you. And within the week, we'll get your constitution and bylaws together. If you guys have 10, 15, 20 truckers there, all you guys can have your own call, your own meetings, your own everything. You don't have to report to anybody. That's how it works. If there's any issues and you start saying, oh, well, we can drive 18 hours a day. No, that's not going to help anybody. That's going to hurt your industry. So you do things that benefit your industry. And I know you guys in the truckers industry are common sense people, and you know that what's hurting your business and what isn't. And you can make that happen within the American National Truckers Union. You can make it change. You can change it. We'll get you a little union card. You notify your employer, hey, I'm a part of the American National Truckers Union now. If you want to join, come on over. So the agricultural union is is working a lot with Silver Infusion. And like I said, if you can't afford it, just go to the affiliates area and register. We'll get you in. And all you got to do is accept the terms and conditions, which is a basic affiliate agreement. It doesn't hurt anybody. And whoever clicks your link and buys, you get paid for it, and it'll get forwarded to you. Or you can go ahead and buy Silver Infusion with it, or you can keep it. We don't care. It's whatever you want to do with it if you can't afford it. So there's a couple of ways to do this. We don't want to keep it out of the hands of people that can't afford it. There's a way for you to afford it. So at any rate, anything else you want to add, Pete?
No, no, just asking anyone, like I said before, if all you do is have an herb garden in your windowsill, come out to the agriculture union, help us out. Let's get things rolling, because this is basically where all of us get our food from, where all of us get our animals from.
Aquaponics.
Yeah.
If they put silver infusion in their aquaponics and they put a little plasma energy in there, imagine what kind of food they're going to get out of it. Just
very excited to see what plasma energy is going to do for us this year.
I'm real excited about that. Yeah, because I want to know what I want to hear back from people. Here, I'm going to request membership because I didn't start this. So at any rate, shortly introduce yourself. Request. There's my introduction. All right. And if you have, if we start making this a combination of the plasma energy, then we're waiting on people to come back and tell us the difference, because we did show you pictures the last time. But we want to make sure that there's a lot of people that got it at first, and they're testing it out, making sure everything works well. The people that sell it, they're extremely good people, really, really good people. And they're extremely honest. And if there's anything lost in the mail or anything, they replace it right away. It's not a big deal. And the guy who does the silver infusion, which is Greg, he's always Johnny on the spot when it comes to getting this stuff out to you. So you won't have any issues there. What he doesn't like, I think there was one issue where a lady had bought some and then she asked for her money back 3 days later. So he knew she was trying to get a free bottle. That's all it was doing. Please don't treat this like a Walmart thing, folks. That's just not good. That's not good business. So he won't sell to her anymore because he knows what she's doing. And there's some other people that tried some hoo-ha here and there, but Greg's a really good, honest guy. What he's claimed has been proven in the beginning. What he claimed in the beginning happens. It does absolutely happen. So this sucker gets a seal of approval here. And just don't forget this. So next week, what we'll do is on the 71st broadcast, we'll talk to you about not forming assemblies. We're going to talk to you about how to get your political power back, your vote back, and then we'll start running you through the steps of getting your constitution back into play, because there's a state within a state situation going on in your states that are on the state within a state is a monarchy type system. And we're going to bring back a republic type system within the states. And you're going to do this by the law, by the numbers, legally, and people will accept it. Even people that don't have a clue what you're doing will accept it because it'll feel right, because it is right. So we'll talk about that next week. So thanks for listening to the T-ROH Show. Thanks for coming on, Peter. And John said at the beginning, before we came on, that he was going to try to keep quiet because it's raining down there, and that makes a lot of noise. So that's the reason why he's been so quiet tonight. So thanks for listening to T-ROH, and we'll talk to you next week.